trắng bay bay, lòng vui như nở hoa. Em mỉm cười xinh tươi, ôi khung trời 20, niềm vui tương lai đón chờ em. Lòng tha thiết yêu đây và yêu đất nước thôi, thơ trong ánh mắt này và mùa tia khát vọng. Tay tay chào thế giới, bước trên miền đất mới, cứ tin em cô gái Việt Nam. Rồi mai đây em tung bay bay đến những chân trời xa, thì hãy luôn ghi trong tim màu da tiếng nói người Việt Nam. Dành tình yêu tặng cho đời, dành tình yêu tặng cho người, và niềm tin trong em luôn rực cháy. Nụ cười em luôn trên môi, cả thế giới sẽ nhận ra một Việt Nam luôn hơn hoang, chẳng dâng sức sống qua thời gian. Hãy bay cao tận chân trời, hãy giang tay trao cuộc đời, và giờ đây tôi vui khi gặp em. Xin chào em. Trên phố đầm áo trắng bay bay, lòng vui như nở hoa. Em mỉm cười xinh tươi, ôi khung trời 20, niềm vui tương lai đón chờ em. Lòng tha thiết yêu đây và yêu đất nước thôi, trời trong ánh mắt đây và mùa tia khát vọng. Tay tay chào thế giới, bước trên miền đất mới, cứ tin em cô gái Việt Nam. Rồi mai đây em tung bay bay đến những chân trời xa, thì hãy luôn ghi trong tim màu da tiếng nói người Việt Nam. Dành tình yêu tặng cho đời, dành tình yêu tặng cho người, và niềm tin trong em luôn rực cháy. Nụ cười em luôn trên môi, cả thế giới sẽ nhận ra một Việt Nam luôn hơn vang, chẳng dâng sức sống qua thời gian. Hãy bay cao tận chân trời, hãy giang tay trao cuộc đời, và giờ đây tôi vui khi gặp em. Xin chào em. Rồi mai đây em tung bay bay đến những chân trời xa, thì hãy luôn ghi trong tim màu da tiếng nói người Việt Nam. Dành tình yêu tặng cho đời, dành tình yêu tặng cho người, và niềm tin trong em luôn rực cháy. Nụ cười em luôn trên môi, cả thế giới sẽ nhận ra một Việt Nam luôn hơn vang, chẳng dâng sức sống qua thời gian. Hãy bay cao tận chân trời, hãy giang tay trao cuộc đời, và giờ đây tôi vui khi gặp em. Xin chào em.
Xin chào anh.
Xin chào em.
Thank you so much for that beautiful rendition of Sing Tươi Vietnam, or may I translate it as maybe Beautiful Vietnam?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so
Certainly.
much for opening Talk Vietnam on such a wonderful note.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Yes, and as you may have already guessed, our singer here, wonderful singer who opened Talk Vietnam quite beautifully, is indeed the guest of Talk Vietnam today. As you might have already been curious about his flawless command of the Vietnamese language in the previous song, we'll get to learn more about him, of course, and his story and how he has become very attached to Vietnam and the culture and the people here in the talk today. But before all of that, let's learn more about him in the following report.
Hi.
Ryan Duy Hùng, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I may begin the conversation by just asking you, where did you get your name, Duy Hùng?
So the name Hùng actually was given to me by some dear friends. They're Vietnamese. They had moved to the U.S. When I was very young, about 5 years old. And so the grandmother in the family could not speak English. And so she said, hey, I'd like to give you all Vietnamese names. So my mother, my father, my sister, and I all had Vietnamese names.
Really?
So she gave me the name Hùng, and I loved it. And so the first time we came to Vietnam, I already could say, hi, my name is Hùng. And then people remember me immediately. So.
Exactly. Now, I understand that you came to Vietnam for the very first time with your family at a very young age.
That's correct.
You were 8?
8 years
and
old.
it was like late 1995.
Yes.
Tell us, what brought your family to Vietnam in the first place?
My father actually always loved Vietnam. He loved the culture, the history, the people, the language. As I said, we had some interaction with some Vietnamese families who were refugees that had moved to the U.S. when I was very young, and that even pushed his interest level higher. After reading almost every book he could get his hands on about Vietnam, he was a professor of business and teaching entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And so he actually organized a trip to take his students, both undergraduate and graduate students from the U.S., to come to Vietnam to do some research on what was happening and the changes in the economy with Đổi mới mở cửa. And through that time, also doing some kind of charity projects, and raising money and starting a fund called Friends of Vietnam to support orphanages. He really started falling in love with the country and kept coming back with his students until he told my family he wants to bring all of us.
In the 90s, it was probably not very common to see, groups of foreigners walking around in Hanoi. So when your family traveled around, what was it like?
When we would be traveling together, we would often travel on xích-lô. It's something that we enjoyed doing as a family. My parents would ride in one xích-lô, my sister and I would ride in one, and we would be going down the streets of Hanoi, and we would talk to our xích-lô drivers, and often they would ask, well, where are you from? Where are you from? And my dad was the one that would always start the jokes and say, oh, we're Vietnamese family, we're not Americans. Chúng tôi là một gia đình Việt Nam. So people would ask, oh, là người Việt Nam thì vì sao lại nhìn như thế mà có tóc vàng, da màu trắng, không phải là da vàng, là tóc đen như người Việt. So we would often say, my dad would say, oh, vì gia đình của chúng tôi không phải là người Kinh, mình là một dân tộc ít người, một dân tộc thiểu số ở Việt Nam. Đấy gọi là người dân tộc mũi lõ, because we have the high noses. So.
Yes, oh, that's really funny. And, you just beat me to it right before I got to it, but basically, showing off your Vietnamese skills there. And I believe you have an affinity for foreign languages because you have studied a total of 11 languages. 11 languages. That's amazing.
Yes.
Tell me about, how did you pick up all of these languages, and where does Vietnamese stand in that, linguistic ladder?
Certainly. Well, studying foreign languages is really one of my biggest passions. I absolutely love learning new languages, how to communicate through a different cultural context. So I just take, the opportunity when I meet people from different cultures to learn languages. That's really how I learned Vietnamese. Growing up here, even living here for 10 years before finishing high school, I never really studied Vietnamese formally. The languages that I've studied, I started learning some of them in high school. I learned French while I was living in Hanoi in international school. They offered French in my school. At that time, Vietnamese was not offered. I don't know why. So I learned French, and I started learning Chinese as well when I was in high school. In university, we had an excellent foreign language department in Syracuse University where I studied.
In New York.
Yes, and so I thought, oh wow, this is exciting. I have a chance to take all kinds of foreign languages for all of my electives. So I studied Italian, German, Russian.
Wow.
I continued a little bit of French and Mandarin while I was there, and then I studied some Japanese and Korean. In terms of fluency, I would say that Vietnamese is still better than any of those languages. Being in different regions of Vietnam. When I was young, I only lived in Hanoi. At that time, I thought all there was is tiếng Hà Nội and tiếng miền Nam. Now I realized that, wow, ở Việt Nam thì các giọng địa phương thì rất là nhiều, rất là phong phú.
Yes.
I started learning, how to speak tiếng Quảng Nôm and tiếng Huế and, Nghệ Án.
Mình cảm giác như là bạn có vẻ thoải mái nhất với giọng Bắc.
Thật ra là khi mình sống ở những vùng khác của Việt Nam, sống ở trong miền Trung, đã rất nhiều năm không sống ở ngoài Hà Nội nữa, thì khi mình quay trở lại về ngoài Bắc thì sẽ có một cảm giác như là mọi người đang nói tiếng Anh, bởi vì là quá rõ ràng, mình nghe bất cứ cái gì mọi người nói đều nghe được.
Bạn có từng chia sẻ trong một cuộc phỏng vấn rằng là để có thể trở thành sư phụ của ngôn ngữ tiếng Việt thì có thể là một thách thức rất là gian nan.
Chính xác là như thế. Bạn
có thể chia sẻ thêm về cảm nghĩ này?
Mặc dù mình sống ở đây 19 năm, luôn luôn cảm thấy như là sẽ có rất nhiều thách thức, rất nhiều từ mình không thể nào hiểu được. Và rất nhiều người hay đố mình thử xem mà mình có biết cái nghĩa của từ này, có thể là một thục ngữ hoặc là thành ngữ nào đó, hoặc là thậm chí những tiếng lóng của các vùng. Phong ba bão táp không bằng ngữ pháp Việt Nam, và mình phải công nhận là điều đó rất là đúng. Nhưng mà thực ra là nó không phải là do cái ngữ pháp, nhưng mà do cái từ vựng rất là phong phú, rất là rộng lớn của ngôn ngữ Việt Nam.
Bạn đã ở đây thì rất là lâu rồi. Bạn ở những thành phố khác nhau. Thời trước, thời bé thì bạn ở Hà Nội. Và sau đó thì bây giờ bạn đang định cư ở Đà Nẵng. Thì ở Việt Nam thì có một nơi nào mà bạn yêu thích nhất không?
Câu này rất là khó trả lời. Thật ra là vì mình đã lớn lên ở ngoài Hà Nội thì mỗi lần về Hà Nội thì có cảm giác như là đã về nhà, coming home. Vì Hà Nội là giống như quê hương thứ hai của mình. Thật ra là có thể gọi là quê hương thứ nhất của mình, vì ở bên Mỹ thì không có những cảm giác như là quê hương ở đâu hết.
So as Ryan has just said, Hanoi in particular has become like a part of his hometown, quê hương, if you may say. Whenever he comes back here, he feels like coming home. So in the following report, we'll see as he has been here in the capital city, how he has taken a walk down memory lane back into some of his childhood memories. So let's have a look at that.
It's been a long time since Ryan last walked on Chua Lang Street in Hanoi. He now spends most of his time in Da Nang, but the memory of that street, his first home, and the friendly neighbors remains unchanged.
Em sống ở Chùa Láng là năm 96. Đấy là cái đợt đầu tiên em sang Việt Nam với bố mẹ. Cả gia đình rất là gắn bó với cái khu vực ở Chùa Láng. Và bởi vì ở đây hồi xưa giống như một làng nhỏ. Ở đây thì cư dân thì không đông như bây giờ. Và mình đã có một thời gian để gặp gỡ với rất nhiều hàng xóm, cũng như là những người bán hàng phở ngay đây chẳng hạn, hoặc là cửa hàng tạp hóa.
With the old photos in his phone, Ryan can recognize the old house where his family has so many sweet memories from their first years in Vietnam.
Hồi xưa thì cái nhà em ở thì nó chỉ có 2 tầng thôi. Bây giờ thì em thấy nó xây lên khoảng 4 tầng rồi. Nhưng mà em vẫn nhận ra được cái nhà ngay bên cạnh. Bởi vì là hồi xưa trên trục đường Chùa Láng thì tất cả các nhà đều là 1 tầng hoặc 2 tầng thôi. Nhưng mà lúc đấy thì đang xây dựng một nhà ngay sát nhà của em là khoảng 4 tầng hoặc 5 tầng gì đấy. Thì bây giờ em nhìn cái nhà bên cạnh vẫn nhận ra.
The trip to Hanoi not only brings back memories about the places, it also reminds Ryan of the warm interaction he shared with the people. Taking the small alleys in Vong village, Ryan comes to visit Mrs. Phi and her husband.
Chào hai bác ạ. Bác khỏe không ạ?
Bác khỏe.
Dạ, bác khỏe không? Khỏe. Rất vui gặp bác ạ.
Mời cháu vào nhà.
Mrs. Phi used to work together with Ryan's father on a project when she was a university lecturer. She was also the one who taught Vietnamese to Ryan's parents and sister. Mrs. Phi still remembers Ryan's exceptional language skills.
Tôi chỉ dạy bố mẹ và chị gái của Hùng thôi. Hùng chỉ thỉnh thoảng tham gia nhưng mà nhớ rất giỏi, phát âm rất là chuẩn xác. Đó là một cậu bé hết sức đáng yêu và thông minh từ ngày còn bé.
Hùng học tiếng Việt thì Hùng tiến bộ rất là nhanh, và những lần sau gặp Hùng ấy là đã nói bằng tiếng Việt mà rất là rõ ràng. Hai bác cháu nói chuyện với nhau rất là thân mật.
Despite having different cultural backgrounds, there was no barrier between Mrs. Phi and Ryan's family. Being open and truthful to each other gradually turned them into close friends. And Ryan is the next after his parents to nurture the relationship with the friends of the family.
Trước tiên là bố mẹ và chị, sau đó đến Duy Hùng nữa, rất yêu quý người Việt Nam. Những cái dịp lễ Noel đấy thì đến nhà Duy Hùng Chúng tôi có thể thấy là không phải chỉ có người bạn Mỹ, và cái số bạn Việt Nam còn đông, thậm chí gấp đôi, và cái điều đó làm cho tôi rất cảm động. Và Duy Hùng, tôi nghĩ rằng ở đây đã học được bố mẹ rất nhiều trong cái cách sống.
No matter where Ryan goes, Hanoi still holds an important place in his heart. And the flavor of the young rice that Mrs. Phi offers gives him the feeling of a young man coming home after a long trip.
So, in the previous clip, we saw that you met with one of the Vietnamese teachers, probably for one of the very first for your family.
Yes.
She wasn't exactly your teacher, though.
That's true.
So, can you please share more about Miss Phi?
Yes, Miss Phi.
I believe that you would kind of eavesdrop a little bit into the lessons of your parents and your sister.
That's exactly right. So, I often say that she's like the best Vietnamese teacher that I never had. Yes. Because I know that she was the best teacher that my family had, and because a lot of my Vietnamese I learned through my parents and my sister, because they were very hardworking, chăm chỉ, to really just push themselves into it and to try, very driven. I was able to just pick up the language through them.
In terms of like living here, you grew up here in Hanoi, and you basically had formed great relationships with along with your family with many Hanoians. Is there anyone else that whose memories stick to mind?
There's someone very special that comes to mind, who is I call him Chú Minh, my uncle Minh. And when we first moved to Hanoi in 1996, we were actually going around the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum and Ho Chi Minh Museum. And after that, we were looking for xích-lô to go home because, as I said, my family loved to ride on xích-lô. And so there was this gentleman, Mr. Minh, who was there waiting, and he said, "Oh, let me take you to your home." So he drove us home, and he was a little bit shy, but very, very gentle and very kind. And at the end of our xích-lô ride coming back home, he asked us, "Can I come back and take you somewhere tomorrow? Where do you need to go?" And so my parents said, "Yes." And so he came the next day and he started driving us. And from that day, we just said, "This is great. He can take us around every day, wherever we need to go." And so he became our regular family driver.
Yes.
After a couple months, we had a Honda Super Coupe,
yes.
50cc.
Exactly.
And so then he started driving us on motorbike, like xe ôm. A few years later, we actually got a small car, and he started driving car for my family. I mean, he's kind of like my uncle, almost like a big brother, because he's very playful. One of the first things that he did, he got me a gift. It's those little tops where you actually wind up the rope on it, and then you throw it, and it spins.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my... Yeah, con quay. So that was one of my first memories, that he actually said, "Hey, Hùng ơi, I got you a gift." And then he gave me the con quay and taught me how to do it. And after that, he would even play, soccer and play badminton with me, in the, sun outside of our house and stuff. So
yes.
He's very special to me.
Yes. That's great. Now, we made a little mention there about xích-lô, and now while xích-lô are no longer kind of the main mode of transportation in Hanoi, I know that recently you have recorded a song called Xe đạp ơi.
That's right. Yes.
A song that is very close to the hearts of many Vietnamese in terms of describing a mode of transportation, a bicycle, that has been and is still one of the very important kind of mode of transportation in the hearts of many Vietnamese. So if you do not mind, would you please share with us this song?
I would love to.
Yes, thank you very much.
Nhớ khi xưa anh chờ em trên chiếc xe đạp cũ, áo ướt đẫm mồ hôi nhấc trưa hè. Nhớ khi xưa bao mộng mơ trên chiếc xe đạp cũ, dưới cơn mưa cùng nhau dắt qua cầu. Xe đạp ơi, đã xa rồi còn đâu, mỗi vả ngày ấy, cho lòng tôi nhớ thương hoài chẳng nguôi. Quay đều quay đều quay đều, mối tình ngày xưa yêu dấu. Quay đều quay đều quay đều, nhớ hoài những vòng xe. Quay đều quay đều quay đều, mối tình nghèo đơn sơ quá. Quay đều quay đều quay đều, thương hoài những vòng xe. Khi xưa anh chờ em trên chiếc xe đạp cũ, dưới trăng khuya cùng trao chiếc hôn đầu. Nhớ khi xưa bao mộng mơ trên chiếc xe đạp cũ, ước mong sao tình yêu mãi không rời. Xe đạp ơi đã xa rồi còn đâu, mối tình thơ thoáng như một giấc mơ. Xe đạp ơi những vất vả ngày ấy, cho lòng tôi nhớ thương hoài chẳng nguôi. Quay đều quay đều quay đều, mối tình ngày xưa yêu dấu. Quay đều quay đều quay đều, nhớ hoài những vòng xe. Quay đều quay đều quay đều, mối tình nghèo đơn sơ quá. Quay đều quay đều quay đều, thương hoài những vòng xe. Quay đều quay đều quay đều, thương hoài những vòng xe.
Thank you so much for that beautiful performance.
You're welcome.
Yes, it was great, very sentimental and nostalgic as well. I believe in the past year, you have become like a great hit amongst on the online community.
Thank you very much. I honestly started singing, just singing with friends, singing at karaoke for people's birthday or whatnot, and really enjoy learning Vietnamese songs and singing the songs. I'm a little bit ashamed to say that I haven't been listening to Vietnamese music that much, even growing up here. I wasn't familiar with that much of the music scene in Vietnam.
So what was the kind of the first song? I believe it was maybe Chiếc khăn gió ấm by Khánh Phương.
Yeah, the first
really
song I ever recorded and put online was just me sitting down at the piano in my home and singing Khánh Phương song Chiếc khăn gió ấm. And after singing that song so many times in karaoke, I was like, I think I'm going to sit down and play it. And so my friend's like, oh, let me take a video of this. And then we put it up on YouTube. And no one really found the song and no one paid attention to it. And suddenly after 3 years, it got shared. And all of a sudden, it just like exploded. And overnight, like it had like over 1 million views. And I was getting all these friend requests on Facebook. And I'm like, what's going on? After someone tagged me on Facebook and said, hey, Ryan, your song just got shared on this huge entertainment site. And there are thousands of people commenting on it. And everyone loves it. And then overnight, I had like 1,000 new friend requests on Facebook, and it was my first experience, seeing something go viral, and that was definitely the catalyst that started to inspire me as I started going through and reading all of people's comments and just saying, wow, you sing Vietnamese so well. When I listened to the song myself, I was kind of embarrassed because my voice was kind of cracking when I would hit some high notes, and I didn't really do a couple takes to get a better version. I just did one take, that was it, put it online. So I didn't know what to do with myself when all of a sudden people are listening to my really raw, unedited voice, and making lots of mistakes on the keys, my voice, everything. But I realized, like, it doesn't have to be perfect, and there's something in it that's so genuine that people really love. And as they keep telling me that and saying, you've got this kind of emotion that you carry when you sing the song that is so special. It's not just the fact that I'm white and I have blonde hair and that I'm singing Vietnamese, but there's something about just my own interpretation of the song and my own emotion that carries through.
You really put your heart and soul in it.
Yeah, that's what really draws people in.
After the success of his recent music projects, Ryan was requested by fans to record the song Xe Đạp ơi. But more than just completing a recording, he decided to make a music video for the song as a gift to the fans.
Trong cái clip video này thì cái ý tưởng của mình là có một cặp hai vợ chồng, có thể là đã cưới nhau mấy năm rồi, có thể là đã mất đi một chút tình cảm, và tự nhiên thì cái người chồng thì đang nhớ lại về những cái khoảnh khắc đầu tiên và rất là đẹp của hai người lúc mới yêu. Thì trong bài hát thì sẽ quay trở lại vào những cái phút giây ngọt ngào và đặc biệt.
With just a few days in Hanoi, Ryan does not have enough time to work with a big film crew. That's why he asked his friend Leah to direct and film the video. Being persuaded with his idea, Leah joined the project.
I'm the director. I wrote the script and I'm helping to film all the scenes today. We're trying to really capture this traditional Vietnamese song and really hope that it is a great thing for people to see and really nostalgic for them to think back on their teenage years when they're in school and really have an enjoyable video to watch.
The filming took place in 3 different locations and there were just 6 people in the crew. Hoàng Mai Anh, a young actress, joined Ryan in the music video. She decided to show her acting skills in Ryan music product free of charge.
Khi mà anh Rền có nói qua em về cái dự án này thì anh cũng có nói thẳng thắn luôn, và em chia sẻ đó là em đóng MV này hoàn toàn là không có một cắt xê gì hết, nhưng mà cái quan trọng mà để em nhận lời đó là cái hình ảnh về một người nước ngoài muốn hát và đưa ra những cái vẻ đẹp về con người Việt Nam thì cớ sao anh không tham gia. Vì vậy là em luôn sẵn sàng và đã đồng ý rất nhanh với anh Rền là em sẽ tham gia.
The music video will soon be available online, and Ryan hopes it can once again show his skill and serious passion for Vietnamese music.
Quay đều thương hoài những vòng xe.
Why do you think that you have, acquired such an interest in singing Vietnamese songs?
Well, I really love singing, period. It's one of the reasons I love it is because the melodies of Vietnamese music is very beautiful. It's very different than Western music. But another reason is that I can learn a lot of new vocabulary, a lot of really rich meaning, a lot of words and things that are very deeply tied to the culture. And it's a chance for me to just learn more about Vietnamese culture through the music.
Do you plan to kind of have a pursuit of the showbiz arena here in Vietnam? I mean, as suggested by many of your fans.
Yeah, right now I've actually started to invest a lot more of my time to doing more music than I had over the past year. I've done enough songs and gotten enough of a platform, I guess, to start doing more music that I really want to go further in the music industry. Currently, I am studying my MBA, which takes up a lot of my time, and that really kind of limits how much I can, do different shows, gigs, even recording music videos and stuff, because it takes a lot of time to plan in advance and to coordinate and work with other people. But I definitely look forward to spending more of my time doing that after I graduate in the summer of 2015.
Yes, that's wonderful. It seems great. So Ryan has taken a leap of faith into the showbiz arena, the entertainment industry of Vietnam. But he's not doing it alone. He's actually in this trip to Hanoi. He's visiting two of his friends, Tyler and Leah, who are local expats and who are actually experts in studio recording and the music industry. So they have been helping him to record his next big cover hit. So in the following, we'll follow Ryan Duy Hùng into his studio.
Hey, chào cả nhà. Hôm nay Hùng đến tại studio để thu bài Con đường tình yêu. Hey guys.
Despite his tight schedule for study, Ryan has some spare time for his music passion. Today, he's going to record another song. Tyler and Leah, two young American musicians, decided to support him after the success of their previous joint project.
We understood each other. We had, the same vision for the songs. We worked really well together. The first song that we worked on, we had only a few days to do it. I spent a couple of nights up all night trying to get the song just right, and it worked out really well. He was really happy with it, and I think everybody's going to be happy with it too.
Có một con đường mang tên là tình yêu. Khi tôi bước một mình tiếp những nỗi cô đơn.
Ryan knows 11 languages in total, but he shows special interest in singing in Vietnamese. His pop ballad songs cover not only wins the heart of listeners, but also inspires others who do not understand the language, like Tyler and Leah.
Chào đến em rồi và từng đêm tôi vẫn mơ về ở đoạn cuối con đường có em.
I really enjoy our time with him. He's really professional, really determined, and really fun to be around. And I think his music will really touch Vietnamese people's hearts because it's traditional songs that are geared towards them. So I think it will really be touching for them.
It's not easy for a foreigner to get a foothold in Vietnam's music scene. But with a burning passion for song, there seems to be nothing that can hold Ryan back.
What kind of genre of music do you focus on? I feel like it's more on V-pop or, kind of the modern, younger trends of music.
Yeah, in terms of my own taste and my own interest in music, I really like young music, nhạc trẻ. I like pop. I like R&B. I even like rap, and I really like the ballads. So those are kind of the main genres that I sing in Vietnamese. Although a lot of people ask me, oh, why don't you sing more like dân ca or something like, the by Quan Họ, like from Bắc Ninh, and try some of that kind of stuff. That's a really big challenge for me. It's difficult, but it's something that I would like to try in the future.
And there's something, about you growing up here as, you said yourself, you consider yourself like a young Vietnamese. So it would only make sense that you have this passion with nhạc trẻ and young music.
Yes, that's true.
And now music has followed you, I believe, since you were a very young boy. Since you were 4 years old, you were already, not, again, like Vietnamese, you were not taking the piano lessons, but you were already picking up piano techniques. Tell us about this musical journey.
Yeah, when I was really young, before ever coming to Vietnam, my parents and my grandparents were a big influence on me in just developing a passion for music. From a very young age, my dad used to play the piano and he would sing to my sister and I. And it was really a big part of our family just to sing together. And my grandmother also played the piano and sang. And our grandparents used to really encourage us and tell us, oh, you guys are doing such a great job, just keep going. And so every time we would go to visit my grandparents, we would always try to have some new songs ready so that we could, play and show off for grandparents. And they used to put a little tip jar, and they would give us tips for playing songs.
Yes.
And so they would give us a little bit of spending money or whatever for playing music. And so that was another big incentive to, I want to earn some money, I'd better keep playing, and I'd have to learn new songs in order to.
And I believe you didn't even take lessons in piano. You just kind of
I did.
It up.
I actually did, but not in the beginning. When I was about 4 and my sister was just starting piano lessons, she was maybe 7, she would play her songs, and very simple songs. And after she would leave the room, I would go sit down on the piano, I would open it up, and I would try to sound it out by ear and play the same thing. Sometimes it would even fool my parents, and they thought it was my sister practicing even more. And they thought that, she's so diligent, and she would get, kudos for that. But I started trying to just play by ear and just sound out, just learn, the scales and melodies and whatnot. But I decided that, I wanted to take lessons too. And so my parents had me taking piano lessons from about the age of 6. And I had a wonderful, wonderful piano teacher throughout my elementary school in the U.S.
Yes, that's great. After all, what do you think it is that is keeping you here in Vietnam, rather than, say, in a city in the States or somewhere else, or, another place that is pertaining to one of the 11 languages that you are learning? Why Vietnam?
I think one of the main reasons is just having so many deep friendships, relationships, and it's really the people that have made this feel like home. And so, we feel that this is home. This is where we're the most content, where we're the most comfortable, and where we have the most meaningful relationships, and that's what keeps us here.
Yes. Do you see yourself living here in the long term?
Absolutely. I don't really imagine how I would peel myself away from Vietnam, and I don't feel any strong force, any pull from anywhere else right now. Vietnam is, home to me, and there's also so many opportunities here that this is just an exciting place to be. I'm open to going to other countries, if there's some opportunity for work and living somewhere else for some time. But I think that I will always come back to Vietnam, and it will always be my home.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Ryan Duy Hùng.
You're welcome.
For being here and sharing, your stories and most of all your love for this country. And, from your, not only your great command of the Vietnamese language, but your understanding and your passion for life and what it is that you're doing here really has has left a great impression for me, and hopefully for the audiences of Talk Vietnam as well. And we wish you all of the best of luck in your future endeavors, as I'm sure you will become a great contributor to kind of this wave of young music, nhạc trẻ, in the future of Vietnam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And before you go now, it would be lovely if you can leave our audiences with a goodbye song.
Absolutely.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Hình như em có điều muốn nói, cứ ngập ngừng rồi thôi. Và có lẽ em không biết rằng anh cũng đang chờ đợi ở cạnh bên em bình yên lắm. Em hiền lành ấm áp, cứ tiếp tục ngày ngùng thì ai sẽ là người đầu tiên nói ra. La 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 la. Gọi tên của em là nắng, để anh được làm mây trắng, bên em quấn quýt mãi chẳng rời. khi gọi em là mưa, chẳng thể gần lại được nữa, em mang ấm áp đi xa. Tưởng như rất gần mà ngờ đâu đã rất xa, vụt mắt theo cơn mưa ngày qua. Tưởng như rất lạ mà ngờ đâu sao quá quên, là lúc em ngang đời ta. Tình yêu đó riêng cho em, một đời mãi không quên. Bài hát tặng em mối tình khát khao, đời bao giông tố, đời nhiều chông gai. Anh vẫn yêu tình yêu của em thôi, đến suốt đời. Sao lớn là tiếng nói yêu anh chẳng rời xa, chẳng rời xa. Chẳng ơn anh điều đấy nó dối trá, tại sao người vội quên mau. Bài ca anh viết sẽ không được trọn vẹn đâu em, không được đâu em. Em yêu một ai thật rồi, mãi chẳng là anh đâu. Nhớ khi xưa anh chờ em trên chiếc xe đạp cũ, áo ướt đẫm mồ hôi những trưa hè. Nhớ khi xưa bao mộng mơ trên chiếc xe đạp cũ, ở dưới cơn mưa cùng nhau dắt qua cầu. Chiều cuối con đường mình nhìn ngắm hoàng hôn, ẩn sâu trong tiếng tí tách rơi, chờ mãi nơi này một cảm giác quá lạ thường. Cảm giác cho anh nhận ra I love you so. Khoảnh khắc cho anh nhận ra I love you, oh I love you so. Khoảnh khắc cho anh gần em.
Chừng nào Hùng vẫn có thể hát được thì Hùng sẽ vẫn tiếp tục đam mê với việc hát những ca khúc của Việt Nam. Đây là cách để Hùng thể hiện được tình cảm của mình đối với đất nước, con người Việt Nam. Đó là vì Hùng đã coi Việt Nam là quê hương của mình.